Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to another Monday edition of We the People. Tonight, we will be talking to Mr. Thomas Moore, and we will be talking about his new platform. As you can see on the bottom, you can subscribe and donate to our channel here on YouTube or LinkedIn. And you can now make all your donations to $JEK3. All proceeds, of course, go to keep us on the air, as well as certain prizes and benefits for some of our other shows. So, without any more ado, let's bring Thomas up here on the. There you go.
Hey, James. How you doing?
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm good.
And how's the weather up your way?
I'm near Austin. The weather's pretty kind of muggy day. Nice day though. Not too hot.
Okay. All right. I know the weather gets a little, difficult sometimes down there. It's pretty much the same here in California.
Right.
Except for now, we're wondering what's going to happen with this rain now that there's no trees up north. So those people might be in for another muddy time. But
yeah.
But in the meantime, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right. My name's Thomas Moore. I am a veteran infantryman, retired due to injuries. I am the founder and the CEO of Politorium, a social platform for respectful political discourse. I started Politorium around the 2020. I didn't start. I started having the idea of Politorium around the 2020 election and all the chaos that kind of followed that. And about 2022 is when I actually started Politorium. I started kind of teaching myself to build, to do some development work because, I'm not a developer, but I taught myself just enough to really build a minimal viable product, like something that people can use and test out, kind of validate the idea to see if the product is something that people actually want, if it's something that they'll use. Do people actually want a place to have, respectful discourse, to really talk and hash out ideas and kind of have their viewpoints challenged? But it turned out that they did. We got a good bit of press, from Business Insider, Yahoo News, and different publications like that. And we got up to a couple of thousand users, and that was just on the build that I did, which was pretty low quality, you could say. Like I said, I'm not a developer, but about 6 or 8 or something months ago, through my minimal viable product, I managed to link up with a developer that is like a full stack code developer, does a bunch of stuff that I have no idea what it even is, but he's been a developer for about 12 years, and he's just a genius with what he does. So now we have a team of three co-founders. They've rebuilt the entire platform, and we just launched the open beta on iOS for Politorium. And in about a week, we'll launch the Android open beta as well. So the open beta will run. So you just go to your app store and you'll see Politorium there. But the open beta will run for about a week while we do some debugging, maybe 2 weeks after the Android version launches. While we just do some debugging, and then from there we'll launch the 1.0 full Politorium, and then we'll really be kind of moving, really start doing some marketing and promotion and getting the word out there, and hopefully start helping people navigate tough conversations.
Well, now, what was your defining moment that you decided to build this platform?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I think what it really was I started having family members like stop talking to each other and like writing each other off, deleting each other off of Facebook, which is just so petty. It's such a, I don't know, like it's your family. You're going to disagree with them, but once I started seeing that, I was like, man, something's got to kind of change. And also I kept hearing from so many different podcasters and even just regular people just saying like, man, there's no place to have a real conversation, because if I go on Twitter, then I just get trolled. If I go on Facebook, my family hates me. Like I can't have a real conversation and just express my opinions and kind of debate with people and learn and grow as our political and our social ideas.
Well, now, excuse me. So, how does Politorium? Am I
Right.
correct? Okay. How does that balance free speech with maintaining a respectful discourse? Because I know, you talk about Facebook and that, I can get in some really tough conversations with people that don't necessarily agree with my ideals or the way that I express my ideas sometimes. So, how do you maintain that balance?
All right. Yeah, something froze up there.
Oh, okay. What I was saying was, I know it in my discussions, I have trouble sometimes remaining respectful in my discourse because of some of the things that people say that really get under your skin, or so. How do you make that balance?
So Politorium is built on a core ethos system, something that we all kind of you have to people have to want a place like this to exist for it to actually work. If everybody gets angry and disrespectful or trolls or whatever it is that they do, if everybody doesn't, or at least a majority of people don't kind of like play along for the sake of like growth and learning and everything and helping each other grow, then it just genuinely doesn't work. There has to be some sort of common ground that we can all agree on to get to that point. But so Politorium is built on this foundation of like how do you build respectful discourse at scale? That's the question. So at scale, meaning, you can get 100 people to have respectful political discourse, but how do you get, 10,000 or 100,000 or 1,000,000 people to be willing to have their ideologies challenged? That's the question. If you don't mind, I have a visual. If I could share this
Sure.
picture here. I have a visual representation here. I'll do this. And yeah. Okay. So this visual representation, are you seeing it here? Oh, there we go. So this visual is a sort of like just foundation of what Politorium is built on. Without any of these things, Politorium really doesn't work. The idea just doesn't work. And the first step is, like I just said, people have to all right. It keeps freezing up there. Yeah, okay, I'm back. So people have to want a place like Politorium to exist in order for it to work. People have to be willing to leave baggage at the door and set differences aside in order for them to be able to really have meaningful conversations. So that is the first step. And the second step is we use an AI algorithm that puts in front of people content that challenges their own viewpoint. So instead of like most other social platforms, they just show you stuff that you agree with nonstop, which builds echo chambers, which just sits there and validates your own ideas. And your ideas are never being challenged. We do the exact opposite. We want to challenge people's ideas. So that's step two. And as you'll see, it's a circle. And the reason it's a circle is because it just continuously repeats, because without any of these things backing up the other, it doesn't work. So going into step three, our reputation system, I'm not sure if you use Reddit, but there's a system on Reddit called Karma. And our reputation system is similar to that, where it's just the sum of your likes and dislikes that you get across the platform on all content. So any posts that you create, comments that you make, the likes and dislikes that you get is your reputation.
We froze up right there, but
what's going on?
No. So you were saying that I think you cut off when you were saying reputation.
Yeah. So the reputation system is it's just the sum of your likes and dislikes across all content that a user creates, being posts or comments or whatever, and every user carries that reputation system across the entire platform. So anywhere you see a user, you're going to see their reputation. So this does two things. It helps minimize trolling, because the reason people troll is because they think it's fun, right? Well, if you know, if you can see the type of the quality content that users create right next to their name everywhere they are on the platform, it discourages people to engage with users with super low reputation, because they don't create quality content, or they don't have genuine, meaningful conversations. They troll essentially, or they're constantly posting hateful remarks or whatever. So that helps people be able to look at that and go, okay, well, I don't want to engage with this person. They don't post sincere content. So it helps discourage trolling, and it also helps encourage quality content to be created by users. So the reputation system, and you'll hear me say this a lot, but it is true, is I think that it's one of the most important aspects of the platform for those exact reasons, because keeping trolls, people trying to get under your skin and get digs in at you off of a social platform is a difficult thing to do. And this is one of those ways that we hope to do that. And then leading into step 4 is AI tone and phrase detection, which basically helps to prevent a bunch of like sarcasm and a lot of condescending attitudes and remarks towards people. And also an important aspect, because people can easily get around moderation filters and the words that they say, and still have disingenuous conversation with people by using different inflections and tones in their text, and being sarcastic and just being like overall genuinely like hateful and rude in the way that they say even things that the moderation system might not pick up. And that will lead into step 5, which is sorry, it froze up again. I don't know if it's my internet or what.
I think it might be ours, but we're expecting some rain, so we might have a little turbulence in between.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll just make it work. So step 5 is incentivizing people to verify who they are. And we do this through an API system where you scan the barcode on the back of your state identification and you take a picture of yourself. You take a selfie. Those two things get sent to a third party who verifies that. So if I say on my account, my name's Thomas Moore, and then I take a selfie of myself, and then on my driver's license, it also says I'm Thomas Moore, and my selfie matches that driver's license, then they can verify that I am who I say I am. It's similar to a lot of different platforms, like you have to do it on PayPal to verify your identity and just things like that. So the reason that we do this is, again, to minimize trolling and incentivize, like trying to gain a high reputation through quality content. And this helps people in our feed section of where you see posts. There's 3 different feed sections. There's your home feed, which is the people you follow, your suggested feed, which is kind of the opposite of your beliefs, to kind of challenge people's viewpoints and have their opinions challenged so they can formulate and kind of grow and have all of the information. And then there's your home, your suggested, and then there's your local feed. So your local feed is based on your approximate location, if you allow the platform to have that, or you can just type in your city. And through that, you're going to see all of your local politics, which we think is a very important aspect of political discourse, because change really does start locally, and our local politics very much affect our everyday lives a lot more than our national politics do, in a lot of different ways. So through incentivizing ID verification, we're able to have people be themselves, like represent who they actually are, their real identity. And now this isn't required at all. You can have an anonymous account. You can debate anonymously, because I know there's a lot of situations where with certain jobs and family members and stuff like that, people don't want their political opinions to really be out there in the open. Some people it can affect their lives negatively to talk about the things that they believe, which is unfortunate, but it is the fact of the matter. But we incentivize ID verification by offering certain features that are only available for people who have the blue check mark, like on X or whatever. But instead of just charging $16 for a blue check mark, we'll verify people's identity in their account for free, just by going through the process of verification. But things like petitions, we don't want to just have petitions open for anybody and everybody to because what it is we have a list of petitions, so you can see all of the meaningful petitions, and of course users can share them. But if we just have them open for anybody and everybody to make, the people who are really taking everything, they're really trying to make real change through petitions. We don't want their real, genuine petitions to be drowned out by anonymous people just making thousands of petitions. So there's a bunch of different features that are only available for people who have verified their identity and just basically said, I am who I say I am, to kind of to make sure their content's not being drawn out by thousands of anonymous accounts, basically. And then moving into step 6, the Transparency Infraction Board. What I truly believe, and I witnessed this during the 2020 election, is corporations should not have the power to silence people. That should be left up to the community. It shouldn't be a corporation on the left or the right or anywhere else shouldn't be able to essentially make somebody not exist online by deleting their account or limiting their reach of who's able to see their posts, or shadow banning, whatever you want to call it. I don't feel that it's very American for a corporation to take somebody's voice away. So with our Transparency Infraction Board, this is a way to take people's rights out of our hands and give it to the community. Let them decide. So what this is a public forum, kind of like a board where the public can see every single infraction. If somebody gets muted for whatever reason, for trolling or anything else, if somebody gets banned for hateful content or whatever else, the entire public can see it, and they can see what moderator issued that infraction. And what this also does is it limits the bias that moderators have. So if a moderator leans more to the right, we'll be able to see very quickly if they're giving infractions to accounts on the left. If they're constantly and consistently picking a side politically, the whole world will be able to see that. And we'll be able to handle that, from the inside to make sure that our moderators are remaining neutral and just the only thing that they should be banning or muting or anything else is things that violate the community ethos, things that just go against, what the community stands for, to remain respectful in their discourse. And the second step of this transparency infraction board is if a user gets an infraction, they can then appeal it. And what that appeal does, it sends it to an appeal board where, again, the public can see it, and they can explain their content and why they think they didn't break the rules or break the community ethos, why they posted the content, however they want to explain themselves to the community, where the community then can vote yes or no. And so if the community thinks this person posted fair content that wasn't hateful or spam or trolling, well, then the person doesn't get the infraction. So we're trying to take all of these things, all of the power that these social media platforms and corporations have over us, we're trying to take that out of our hands. And hopefully we set a precedence for social platforms to kind of change the way they do things. Like, for example, how they're not using third-party fact checkers anymore. Now everybody's doing community notes. Well, that was a precedence that was set by, I guess, X or Twitter. Now Facebook has followed suit, and it's just a better way, a less biased way to do things. Let the community decide. And that's what we're trying to do with all of these things, is take the control that social platforms have over our speech out of our hands. And then it just leads right back into step one, which is fostering respectful discourse. And without that step, the whole thing doesn't work. People have to want this place to exist in order for it to work. So that's just a repeating effort that will go on forever. And as we scale and we grow, we'll also learn, and things will be added and subtracted from this equation to make Politorium as fair as possible, as respectful as possible, and just do the job that it's here to do.
Well, you mentioned a few phrases here that I'm sure our listeners would like to have a little more clarification on. And the first one that you mentioned was the reputation system. Can you kind of walk us through that and how it works, and how does it effectively minimize trolling?
Right. Yeah, definitely. It's a super simple system that I'm sure this function in particular will grow and change as we kind of learn more. Just as the company grows and the community grows, then this is a feature that I'm sure will grow alongside with it. But the way that it currently works is it's just, like I said, the sum of your likes and dislikes on all content. So if you're in a group and you like a post, or you post something and it gets a certain amount of likes, if you comment on somebody else's post and it gets a certain amount of likes or dislikes, because you can also have a negative reputation. So then the user will carry that across the platform. Anywhere a user is seen, right next to their name is their reputation. There's a little kind of like ribbon. And right next to that is a number, and that's your reputation. That's the points that you have. And, it doesn't do anything except show users the type of content and the type of engagement that you have. And
where do you start? Where do you start in this system?
Just
at zero, or
at zero, at nothing. So, if a user jumps right on the platform and immediately starts to troll or be hateful, then they're going to quickly find themselves with a poor reputation. And the reason that we find that this reputation system is an important aspect in the platform is so people can look at that and go, okay, this guy's got negative 346 reputation. They're probably posting some pretty disingenuous content, or they're engaging negatively. They're being hateful. They're spammy. They're trolling. So it helps people just say, I'm not going to waste my time engaging with this person, because they're not genuine. They don't want to have a real conversation. They just want to, piss people off.
Okay. And the second thing that you mentioned was the local feed. How does the local feed empower users to engage in their community political happenings?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question, and that's one of the very very important aspects of the platform is users can, based on your approximate location, you'll see all of the content that's been posted by users also in your approximate location. So what this will do is the same way the reputation system works nationally, or users will also, that same reputation, they'll have the same reputation points and everything, but that user will be able to post content that their community will see, and they'll be able to engage in content that their community has made, and this will help them build a reputation in their local community. And the reason that I find this to be such an important aspect is currently the way local politics really seems to work is something that I call the old guard, right? So the old guard meaning like people that have sat on the city council for 30 years and just endless elections because they run with no opponent, like nobody, they run unchallenged basically. And this will give people a chance to build that reputation, to start being a pillar in their community, have a chance to, if they want to, run for some sort of city council or mayor or whatever, without needing like $1 million advertisement fund to run for politics, because they'll be able to use this local feed. Everybody in their community will know them by name and will know what they stand for, and know the type of the type of political atmosphere that they hope to bring to their community, what type of change they want to make, what they really believe politically. So it'll basically open up a sort of like a floodgate of people now able to really affect their community and beat that old guard with a way of really just showing what they believe. Because most people, I would say, couldn't name their city council. I'd say most people couldn't even name their mayor. And I find that to be a big problem because local politics is, those are your local leaders, the people that affect your life and in your day to day, affect even things as small as like what's the speed limit on this road, and a lot of the times the people making laws, the people voting on certain things, they're not educated on certain topics, and it just, or the way our leadership is set up locally, it encourages people to not care about local politics. We're all so polarized and obsessed with national politics, and I'm trying to bring a spotlight to local politics and get people to engage with their local community.
Now, could you have two different numbers, one for national and one for local, or are these combined?
You mean the reputation?
The reputation and the local feed. I mean, you might be up, and have genuine things to contribute to your local feed, but you might be a spammer or a troller on a national level.
Right. It's something that we've, I get what you're saying. It's something that we've definitely thought about. Like, should you have one reputation across the platform for national political discourse, and then a whole separate reputation just specifically for the local aspect? It's something that we've strongly considered. Currently, it's just one reputation. It's you and your reputation basically, but that is absolutely an aspect. I think what it will be is what does the community want? Does the community want a local reputation? Those are all things that I hope to build Politorium around what the community wants. At the end of the day, that's what's actually important. So if that ends up being something that the community asks for, then 100%. We've discussed it and talked about it at length, but currently it is just one reputation the content that you create is what you carry across the entire platform.
So are you able to participate in these different platforms exclusively? Like say, like since you are considered, suppose I only want to participate in my local, ideas, my local feed, my, what's happening in my city, rather than worry about what's happening in DC.
Right. Yeah. So if you click local, you're going to see your city will pop up at the top of your local feed, and you're going to see that the posts that you're seeing are specific to your community. So if you click local, you're not going to see, let's say like DC or New York City. You might see like Austin, Texas, or Denver, wherever you're at. So that's specifically what you're going to see if you post local.
Okay. So what makes your Ask an Expert feature stand out compared to traditional Q&A forums?
Yeah, that's definitely a good question. I actually don't get asked about that one too often, but I find it to be a feature that could really kind of change the way that we view. Like, let's just take for instance, we listen to the media a lot, right? So when the news gets on and tells us something is good or bad, they're not experts. Let's just take the medical industry, for example, or like vaccines, right? Whether it's Fox saying that a vaccine is bad or CNN saying a vaccine is good, at the end of the day, you're hearing this from somebody who's never studied vaccines. So the Ask an Expert section, what happens is if I'm an expert in a specific field, I submit my expertise to Politorium, and I submit my credentials and say, look, I know about this topic. I'm an expert in this field. So then I go down on a list of experts with my name and then my expertise. So this gives everyday, like normal people, the opportunity to ask an expert in the question that they have specifically, instead of, and hear it like straight from the horse's mouth, instead of hearing it from somebody who heard it from somebody who heard it from somebody. So it gives everybody a fair opportunity to ask the question straight to the person. And there will be, some filter systems and stuff. So if a person is trying to ask an expert a question that's already been asked and talked about at length, then they'll see that post and they can kind of just avoid having that expert have to reiterate everything. But then they can also comment on whatever that question was to that expert to kind of bring that expert back into the conversation and answer whatever question they might have.
So how does Politorium qualify these experts?
Just based on the credentials that they submit, there will be certain requirements depending on the field. So if it's like legal or medical, then their expertise should be definitely institutional education. They should have a degree in that field. And like let's say they're a surgeon, but so they're a surgeon. So we wouldn't put them down as, an mRNA vaccine expert, because while they're still a doctor, they're not an expert in that field, right? So it all comes down to proving your expertise, really. Politorium is definitely a platform where we want people to say whatever they want to say. But at the end of the day, the platform is, has a topic, has a theme of political and social discourse. So we really don't want people making posts saying like, I just got a new 6-string guitar. We would say like, take it to Facebook or X, like tell your family, tell your friends or whatever. It's just not on topic with what we're trying to post, right? So we wouldn't certify somebody as an expert piano player. It just doesn't make sense. If you're an expert in, let's say, HUD housing, then we would certify that. we would mark them on a list of experts that you could tag and get the attention of, and ask whatever questions you want to ask.
Okay. All right. Are there any features that set Politorium apart from the major, platforms like Twitter, Reddit, or, Facebook?
Yeah. I think a lot of them are similar, such as, just having posts, having pictures, posts and videos and everything like that. But, I think the biggest feature is the act of fostering respectful political discourse and social discourse. But just trying to, instead of trying to get people to doom scroll forever through their phone watching videos so we can get ad revenue, we would rather, I guess you could say, like, make less money, less ad revenue, in order to encourage people to challenge themselves, challenge their opinions and their ideas. And while that's a difficult thing for a lot of people to do, they might go and have one conversation with the person they disagree with and get frustrated and leave. But we would rather have somebody do that and grow mentally as a person, than just doom scroll for 10 hours and make us some money. So I think that is the most important aspect of Politorium, is that the thing that's most important to us is not our bottom dollar. It's the user's experience, whether that is a hard and challenging experience because they're being challenged mentally, like their opinion is being challenged by another user, or it's a good experience and they're able to get along and just have good, respectful conversations. Other platforms, their main priority is the bottom dollar, is how much ad revenue they're making for their shareholders. I mean, they're a company at the end of the day, and that's how it's got to be. But in our bylaws specifically, and the legal charter of Politorium, it states that the most important aspect will always be the user's experience and not the bottom dollar that other social platforms focus on. But that, I would say, what we're trying to do is make every feature of Politorium sort of the opposite of how other platforms come at things. Like I guess realistically, at all of our features, the suggested feed is there to challenge a user. The last thing other platforms want to do is challenge somebody's opinion. They want to validate your opinion to get you to stay on that platform for as long as humanly possible. If it's 10 hours a day, you're making them some pretty good money. So features like that, like our suggested feed, that is going to feed to users ideas and posts and content that counters or contradicts their opinion, that's going to be difficult for people. It's going to be, people don't like to be challenged because you have your own opinions and everybody thinks they're right in their opinions and everybody thinks the other person is wrong. So showing users ideas that don't agree with their own, and it's not just somebody that's calling you names or like on X or something, there's calling you an idiot or whatever it might be. Somebody's presenting you with like facts or strong opinions or whatever the reason is they believe something, and to you that might not be accurate, it might not be what you believe, and that's a difficult thing for a lot of people, being challenged in that way. But yeah, I would say, I guess that our idea is to sort of fix social media. At the end of the day, the most important thing to us, it is helping the country kind of come back to be together, whether we agree or disagree. The power is supposed to always be in the people's voice, and currently it's not, because we're so divided and we're so polarized by our politics. They purposefully try to divide us. That's kind of how a two-party system works. You make each other hate one another, and then you have voters. So we aim to fix that through this entire system of features, philosophies, and functions.
So, what measures do you have in place to prevent bad actors from gaming the system, such as manipulating the reputation system, for instance?
So this is going to be a process of growth from start to finish, because there will always be that. There's always going to be trolls. There's always going to be people, even like foreign countries, that try to affect our politics, especially here in America, because our politics affect the entire world. So that's always going to be the case, that some country tries to sneak in 1 million bot accounts, like literal fake accounts, just to up and down vote certain posts and certain content. So the features that we currently have in place are AI detection algorithms to detect behavior patterns of accounts. So if an account, like they don't post anything, and all they do is like Democrat content, or like Republican content, just to boost that reputation, then what we would do, instead of just flat out banning them, is we would ask them to verify that they're a real account. And if we really thought that it was a fake account, then we would ask them to verify their identity. But so it will be a process of growth, though, because what we don't want to do is what other social platforms are doing, where we just flat out ban accounts, because those might be real people. And I don't want to take people's voice away. I don't want to take away anybody's right to have any sort of discourse. But it will be something that we have to deal with. Fake accounts, bad actors, whatever you might want to call them, will try to manipulate the reputation system and create content and try to make the platform lean one way or the other. Turn the platform into an echo chamber, whatever it is that they might try to do. It's going to be a process of growth to always correct course and get back on track.
So, getting into some of your challenges and future goals here. So, what has been the biggest challenge in maintaining a troll-free environment while still allowing diverse opinions?
I guess the biggest challenge is everybody thinks that the content that they're creating is not trolling, or that they shouldn't, receive the infraction that they receive. Some people will, just, I don't know, like maybe say some terrible things that are just, they're on topic politically, but they're irrelevant towards something, like just somebody believes something about a politician. They make accusations that aren't, proven. They're just said. They're just repeated a bunch, but nothing is proven about it. So, they think that is, I guess you could say, real, acceptable content, even though it is just things that are unproven and negative, specific, derogatory, I guess you could say. And so everybody thinks what they believe is right, is the right option to believe. And
Sure.
It's been a hard thing to just keep people just staying on topic with a not progressive in the sense of politics, but progressive in the sense of fixing how we communicate with one another, and fixing how we even talk politics.
Okay. So, have you faced any backlash from any groups or individuals who prefer a more chaotic discourse?
Absolutely. When Politorium launched the first time, whenever it was, just me as a solopreneur, just a single entrepreneur building a platform, I had a group of, I don't know what you'd call them. I mean, I guess you'd say they're on the right, but a group of people that kind of bombarded the platform, just making a bunch of accounts, tons of accounts. And this was something I had to work with to prevent just mass accounts being made. And, now we've gotten to that point where we can prevent that. But particularly just to say, Biden is, a pedophile or whatever. You know, they're just basically throwing a bunch of stuff out there, just seeing what sticks to the wall to get people to repeat. And you know, that was a tough thing to deal with too, because then you got to sift through, you know, see like who's saying what, and then who's like sharing it, because I don't expect every single thing that's ever said to have like cold hard facts to back it up. You know, we don't expect that at all, because there's a lot of things that facts haven't been like most of us can believe certain things happened, but you know, there is no direct facts for it, like on paper, and like conspiracy level stuff, but things that we all are pretty sure are probably true. So I don't want to just say like, nope, there's no paper, there's no hard facts on what you're saying, so you can't say that. You know, I'm not going to do that. But if it's just something that, I'm also not going to say it's obviously not true, because who actually knows, you know, what's obviously not true. I mean, we have intelligence agencies that hide things from us pretty well. So it's just a matter of judgment calls, basically. And this is exactly why these judgment calls need to be made public by moderators, so people can see. So these, you know, judgment calls aren't actually opinionated judgment calls or biased judgment calls. They're fair and equal across the board.
So how do you see Politorium in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, what I really hope for is like modest, healthy growth in the user base. What I don't want to see is, you know, something like just go viral, have a massive uptick, and then just fall off a cliff. You know, I don't want to see that. I'd like to see real modest, just healthy growth, with all sides being having like fair representation. Like, it's not overwhelmingly left or right. You know, we market well, and we were able to keep it pretty, you know, level across the board as far as you know, what political parties people are and what their beliefs are, because we don't want to create an echo chamber. And yeah, I hope that we're able to get a lot of feedback from users and create the platform that people want. And most importantly, I hope that we're able to foster respectful discourse, because it's not going to be an easy thing for people to just jump into and be like comfortable not trolling and not looking for that gotcha moment, you know, and remaining like fair and ready to have their opinions challenged. People aren't going to like that. A lot of people won't like it. A lot of people will come right on the platform and say something crazy that is just outlandish, and they'll end up getting banned. And I hope that the people that happens to, they're able to have some sort of moment of growth in the future, and then come back and try again whenever they're ready to. And then hopefully they have grown a little bit and are able to engage in respectful discourse after that. But I really just hope that we can get a lot of feedback and really build the platform that the users want to see.
So are there penalties? I mean, you know, like you know, Facebook, you know, they'll throw you off for 3 days, 5 days.
Right.
You know, some of the other, you know, social platforms will, you know, take your account down completely.
Yeah.
Are there any penalties on Politorium?
Yeah. So the way that our infraction system works is it's kind of like a strike system, right? So we use strikes as a divided up metric. So certain things will get you a quarter of a strike, and other things could get you 5 entire strikes and your account banned. You know, if you get on and you say something like you know, violent or engaging in just something real crazy, then that could get you just a full account ban. But if you get on and you're just like you just call somebody, you know, a douchebag or something like that, and there's no actual content to what you're saying, you're just, you know, running your mouth basically, then that might get you like a quarter strike. And with this strike, and that might be, you know, a 7-hour ban or a 1-day ban, or or mute or whatever, and what the way that the strike system works is users can see the strikes inside of their user profile, inside their account, and throughout time those strikes will fall off. So if you go 3 months creating good quality content and just not trying to be a bully or not trying to stir drama, stuff like that, not engaging in bad faith, basically, then you'll see strikes fall off your account. So the more strikes you have, the longer penalties will be. And so the objective is to not have any strikes, and so if you hit 5 strikes, that equals a ban. Essentially, like Facebook, they'll ban you for 30 days for a while, or they'll start with you got a 1-day ban. You keep engaging in bad faith, now you got a 7-day ban. You keep doing it, then it's a month ban. You keep doing it, and then you see that your account is completely banned. But the idea is to show the users where they stand with infractions, and hope that encourages them to I gotta spend some time making good content and having good faith engagement, so I can get my strikes back to 0, so my account's not at risk of being banned. Because like other platforms, we do have a curator, content creator subscribe button, where creators can make money for their content if people subscribe to their let's say their premium content that they create. Similar to X, how you can not just follow a user, everybody can follow everybody else, but there's also a subscribe to this user button, where a user will pay $2.99 to another user in order to see their premium content. Same system as X, but so in the sense of the penalties, your strike count is going to affect whether or not you can open your subscribers account, whether or not you're allowed to have subscribers, is whether or not you create good quality content.
Okay. Now you mentioned also Android and iOS capabilities, but is there a web page? Is your web set up yet?
So currently our .com, Politorium.com, is just a landing page, just a page where it will take you to iOS or Android. What our hopes are is to start with, we're going to get what's called a progressive web app. So basically it would look like a phone, but inside a web browser, you can use it all the same as you would on a phone. So it's not a full version, desktop version of the platform. You're essentially using an emulator, I guess you could say. So it's like using a phone inside of a web browser. Because a lot of people, my grandma, for instance, doesn't want to download apps. She doesn't like to put apps on her phone. So I don't want to make it so somebody can't use the platform based on something like that. So we're working on a progressive web app that's going to allow them to use Politorium on the web, on a desktop or laptop, but so as we roll out and we launch the 1.0 version and we start to scale and generate revenue and everything, we will be bringing out a full desktop version where you can, full on use everything on the desktop, its own platform on the desktop and everything.
So I can go to the App Store right now and sign up.
On iOS, yeah. It just released yesterday. It's the beta version, so you'll see, you'll try to click on certain features and it will say coming soon, because these are all things that are going to be rolling out throughout the beta version. We're rolling out kind of a thing at a time, so we can have users use that feature. And as bugs are being sent back to us, we can fix bugs, do some debugging, and just get the platform really ready for a full 1.0 launch, so it doesn't crash and so users don't have problems with it. We're slowly rolling out each feature. But yes, on iOS, it's available. We haven't really started marketing for this particular version of Politorium. My version that I was able to really, get a good amount of users on my last version, but this is an entire different version of Politorium, and marketing hasn't started yet. So, we haven't really started rolling in users. Currently, I think, all the people that's on the platform right now are like the beta testers, like people that signed up early to get the app. Because, specifically, we don't want to start marketing and, doing a whole bunch of promotion while we might have some bugs in the app. We want to fix it. We want to give users a good experience. So if we have to wait a little bit in order to really start telling the world about it, then yeah, that's what we're going to do to give people a good experience. I should note as well, Politorium is going to be based by your country. So here, this one that's releasing right now, this is specifically and only available in the United States. And then as we scale and as we grow and the app is ready, then we'll move into other countries. But they'll have it's the same app, but it's their version, right? So the Politorium available in Canada is for Canada, because what we're trying to do is there's so many people engaging in other countries' politics that, not to say that they don't have any business doing that, but what we're trying to do is get people to focus on your own politics, your local politics, your national politics. Like, I don't need to be discussing Canadian politics. I don't need to be talking about Justin Trudeau. I need to be talking about my own politicians, holding them accountable to what they do and say. So each country, their version of Politorium will represent their country. So Canada will not see American politics in Canada's Politorium.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's a town hall, but we don't want to make another world-sized town hall like X, where Saudi Arabia is engaging in American politics. There's no reason for it. That's just another one of those things where it's like, if Saudi Arabians or anybody, this is just an example, but if anybody wants to engage in political conversation about another country, there's plenty of apps to do that. There's plenty of platforms to do that. But Politorium specifically, we want to keep it on topic, relevant to the user, and get users to engage in their own politics, their own national and local politics, and encourage them to make change in their communities. Every nation has things that they can fix about themselves. And yeah, we want to encourage that people get involved in their communities, or at least are willing to talk about it and care about it. We're strongly trying to encourage younger generations to start recognizing that they have a voice and they have a vote, and that they should be proud of that, because a lot of people don't get to vote. A lot of people don't get to express their opinions. Like, there's plenty of countries that Politorium won't even be allowed to be in. Like China's not going to allow Politorium because their people don't necessarily get to. Whether or not a country has free speech is kind of what's going to decide if they allow Politorium in. And there's a lot of countries that won't. So we want to encourage people to recognize that the power belongs to them, or it's at least supposed to. And that's what we want to do is bring that power of people's voice and community back to them.
So would you consider integrating real world political actions like organizing community events or direct civic engagement tools?
Definitely. There's so it's a feature that will roll out with the 1.0 version, but in the local aspect of your feed. So if you go to local, at the top you'll see, just based on what your city is, whatever your approximate location or whatever city you've typed in, you're going to see a leadership button, right? So you can click that leadership button and you'll be able to see all of the leaders in your community. And I think that that's important because most people don't know who leads their local community. But what we're gonna give to people is a streamlined, easy way to really engage with their city. All of the things, cities make it really difficult to get like permits for rallies or permits for protests or whatever it might be. And we're gonna find streamlined ways to here's that form that you need. Instead of having to dig through Google or dig through your city hall's website, we're going to provide direct ways for people to really start organizing like civic discourse in their local communities.
Oh, okay. Sounds very good. Do you think that the platform could help rebuild trust in political discussions and civic engagement?
That's definitely the hope. I think more open and honest conversation. I think the last thing that we need is less conversation. I think the more that we say like this thing shouldn't be talked about because of the history with this or because it hurts people's feelings, I think that that's the last thing that we should do. I think we should always encourage conversation and an open conversation and of course respectful conversation. And I think by doing that, I think the internet has kind of poisoned our minds and made us really assertive with one another and not willing to hear each other out. And we're just really excited to, get under somebody's skin and to poke fun at people. And once we start like removing that mentality from people, I think we'll have a lot more willingness to talk to one another because we won't be afraid of being the person that lost the argument or lost the conversation. So I think that will build a lot of trust with people and just more allowing themselves to be more vulnerable and learn. Right now, nobody wants to admit that they're wrong about something or that they supported something that, I don't know, wasn't great. But as we remove that that attack mentality that a lot of people have, then people will be more vulnerable, more willing to conversate.
How do you see AI and more machine learning playing a role in content moderation and fostering quality discussions? A lot of people, for instance, I might put up something that I've written in AI, and someone else, might be trying to respond to it manually or without using AI. Will there be how do I want to say that? Will there be a dissemination between human content and AI content?
I would say probably not at the start. The what we're currently only using AI for is moderation. So the AI tone and phrase detection, as well as our transparency whole system, the transparency infraction system is that's our moderation system of how we're actually moderating content is a hybrid system between AI and humans. So AI detects the content. So we'll say the AI tone and phrase detection detects content, sends it to our AI moderation system, and then if that also senses or flags that the content goes against the community ethos and standards, then that would be sent to a human for a final judgment call. A hopeful, unbiased, held accountable judgment call. So currently, we're not including a like write this with AI or on like Substack and X and things like that. You
Right.
can type up a post and then you can click like rewrite it with AI.
Right.
So we're not going to really include that from the start. Maybe in the future, and then if a person does write it with AI, then yeah, we would probably put some sort of note or flag on their content saying written with AI. But I really hope to keep engagement person to person to really keep it like express your feelings and how your thoughts on something. And if somebody wants to use AI just to kind of spice up what they're saying or use it as a grammar or punctuation corrector, then I mean I think that's, that's fine and that's fair and everything. But yeah, I would expect that it, stays on the course of just being from one person to another, how I feel and how you feel. And to really keep the conversation just genuine and not like tons of bots and AI written content.
Right. So, how do you navigate the tension between moderating content and avoid accusations of censorship?
Right. That's kind of why we have a a 3-part layered moderation system, is so we can really make sure that the things that we're moderating actually do go against the rules. And as far as censorship goes, we will follow the law, basically. So if what a person is saying breaks the law, then that would be deleted. It would be censored. What we don't want to do is just take a topic. We'll just use, for example, in 2020, the FBI told Facebook, anything about this topic right here needs to be deleted, and you need to censor anything talking about this topic. And that's not what we're going to do. That is never what we're going to do. We'll follow the law of any country that we're in, and that's it. As far as, so if something that a person is talking about is legal and fair in the political conversation, it's on topic and it makes sense for it to be on Politorium, then we're going to let them talk about it. Because as I mentioned, I think we need more conversation, not less. So if a thing that somebody has to say is legal and on topic, then we're going to let them say it. If it's harmful or hateful or spammy or trolling, then we're not. Then it will be moderated, but so as far as the spamming, trolling, hateful type stuff goes, that would go through the moderation system and be detected and ultimately, deleted. And a person can always appeal it. And then if the community, see, that's why, like, at the end of the day, everything that's on Politorium will really be up to the community. They can vote whether or not they think that this thing broke the rules or whether it didn't. But as far as the censorship topic goes, we're going to have a pretty strong stance on whatever is legal and on topic, and just, is a genuine post. If it's, just derogatory and to make somebody look bad and they're not actually trying to have conversation, they're just trying to create a narrative, well, then that's a whole different story.
Okay. What kind of feedback have you received from your beta trial users?
Definitely that the app is a much stronger build than the previous version. A much stronger build. My developer team is really good at what they do. So as far as the features and stability and infrastructure and everything goes, we're getting pretty good feedback on all of that. We found a couple of bugs actually that got fixed this morning. And then as far as feedback overall on Politorium, what I'm actually really happy about, and I'd say, I guess, somewhat slightly surprised by, is that the feedback overall on Politorium is we've never had somebody just straight up say, like, hey, that's a stupid idea, and that thing there, that platform doesn't need to exist. I think everybody is aware that we need an unbiased, respectful place for communication and for discourse. And that's been the thing, I think, that has most made me happy since building this platform, is that people recognize and understand that it's necessary. But yeah, as far as the beta testers and everything like that goes, we've gotten good feedback on all of the the features and everything like that.
Any surprises? Maybe a success story in the sense of you thought maybe that this particular app or this particular subject wasn't going to quite fly, and you found out, that in spite of your worries, things have worked out very well.
Do you mean as far as like user content inside the platform, like what
Yes.
users have created? There's been certain conversations, definitely on, because like I mentioned, this current version, the iOS beta that just came out, it only launched yesterday, so there's really not a lot of content on the platform currently because we haven't done any promotion or advertising. On the last version, though, there was quite a few conversations that, a lot of things that were kind of, I guess, called conspiracy stuff or disagreements that were really, really strong, like in like mid 2023, I guess you could say, the real early in Politorium. There was quite a few surprises as far as like content that was assumed to be untrue, and then a day or 2 days or 3 days later was, shown to be like factual. And then so content that we ended up like kind of discussing, should this be on the platform, because it's, there's large like accusations that we don't actually know to be completely true, but then something would come out to affirm that that thing was true, and we end up letting it stay. Like if it's true and it's on topic, then we're gonna allow it.
Oh, okay. If you could change one thing about the way political discourse happens online, what would it be?
That's a tough one. I think if I could eliminate the like I guess like dopamine hit that people get from that gotcha moment. Like every word that somebody says, it's not genuine. It's like they're trying to set a trap for whoever they're talking to get them to misstep or be wrong about something, so they can make them feel like an idiot. So they can be like, gotcha. That's what I mean by that gotcha moment. Getting people to like being right. Like everybody's so obsessed with being right. I think I would change that. I would make it so people are more obsessed with learning and with growth and open-mindedness, because it's just whenever we get stuck in our ways, growth comes to a halt. Whenever we like have an opinion and we just want that opinion to be right, and anybody that doesn't agree with it is an idiot, then growth just stops dead in its tracks right there. And I think that's the worst thing for the country. It's the worst thing for us, even mentally. I think the dopamine hit that social media gives people whenever they're able to get somebody in a trap, it's very like unhealthy, and it kind of essentially fosters a whole lot of negativity that we then carry that around, and we feel like, yeah, I really got that guy today. And it's like an unhealthy, it's like a bully mentality. Kind of just everything about it it's very unhealthy for us mentally, and it's also very unhealthy for us as a community and as a society, because we can't grow if we're just constantly trying to put the other side, whatever side we're on, we're trying to be right, and we're trying to make them wrong. And I don't see healthy growth in that. I think forever from here on in American politics, if the course is not corrected, then I think forever here on, both sides are going to say this person's a communist, don't vote for them, and the other side's going to say this person's a fascist, don't vote for them. No matter who the leaders are, we're now at this accusation point in politics where everybody's some sort of foreign asset, everybody's some sort of dictator, everybody's going to destroy the economy, and it's just the most unhealthy way for a democratic society to live. is so basically 50% of the country just always have to be massively unhappy with their leadership. And I think correcting the course of how we speak to one another can change that.
But how can you change that if you only have a two-party system?
That's the real question.
Which would mean that you're either right or you're wrong.
That's the real question. And so something that I would like to bring up is what I think is the biggest problem in American politics is our actual voting system, is how we, not how we vote, how we vote is fine, but how our voting system is set up. We have a system that discourages independence or voting for any third party, because then it's a wasted vote, right? So the way that our system is set up, you're either a winner or you're a loser, and that's it. There's no middle. So something that I advocate real strongly for, and I think I always will, is something called ranked choice voting. So ranked choice voting, and there's really, really easy to understand explanations and videos on YouTube that are like a minute long, and they use like, these people want this flavor of ice cream. So they use these analogies basically to make it really, really easy to understand. But
kind of like the 1, 2, 3, 4 system we have out in California, right?
Yes. And I think, and like New York has, I think some cities in Connecticut have it. So ranked choice voting essentially makes it so we can stop saying that, oh, it's a wasted vote. Because if I vote for this independent and he drops out or he does whatever, goes endorses somebody else, then my vote doesn't just disappear. Now it goes to my second favorite, my second vote. So we can stop saying that, it's a wasted vote because it's not, because your vote just goes to your next person, right? So this encourages people to now vote outside of the two-party system. And what it also encourages is politicians to stop causing so much divide purposefully, because they need those second and those third place votes. So they can't just be like, I'm going to get these people here. They need to also get these people here. So they be a little less extreme on the way that they talk and the polarization and divide that they create in order to get those second and third place votes. So I think that alone, are just the simple way that our politicians even run their campaigns. Everything is a smear campaign today. Nothing is genuine. Nothing is, here's what I'll do for the country. It's all, here's how this person's going to hurt the country. And we need to get away from that. And I think the way to do that is ranked choice voting, is allowing people to vote for independence again without, saying like, oh, a vote for him's actually a vote for this guy and you're just hurting this party. It's all just a nightmare. It's all a disaster. And I think the actual way that we vote and federal elections, it doesn't make any sense. The whole thing just encourages a two-party system, and we will never, ever have a third party as long as the way that we vote remains the same. And honestly, I can't personally see any negative aspects to a ranked choice voting type of system. We still remain a democratic republic, everything stays the same. It's just that you get your vote, everybody's vote gets counted, no matter who you vote for. And it just reinforces that we don't have to have two parties, just two parties.
Or parties at all. Everybody runs independent as an independent.
Well, yeah, that would be something, like you have your views, run on your views, not your parties. Run on just what you believe as a person, and let's see who else believes that. That would be a great thing as well, but I think that would be real difficult to do, because there's just so much negotiation that has to happen in politics, and there's just so much other stuff to deal with. But at very least, we could encourage voting for parties outside of the two-party system.
But usually those parties are either labeled one of three things: fascist, communist, or that dangerous independent. That's looking to shut down democracy and all kinds of things when it comes to people accepting anything that doesn't have a D or an R in
Right.
back of it.
Right. And the big problem is with the whole idea of parties. If let's say like a Democrat is a lifelong Democrat, they're a Democrat politician, they vote Democrat, everything is Democrat, but they step out of line just a little bit and go, but this feels right to support this thing. Like this actually seems right, not wrong. Well, then they're like ostracized from their party, and it's like if they don't toe the line and vote the exact way that the DNC or the RNC chair expects them to vote, then they're ostracized, and then they're called things like rhinos, like Republican in name only, and
Right.
dinos or whatever.
John McCain went through that, and he's a national hero. And being a Vietnam vet, I thought that was very disrespectful the way that he was treated. But as you say, once you go over that line, if you're an R and you vote with a D, then you're ostracized. If you're a D and you vote with an R, then you're also ostracized. But before we go, I want to talk a little bit about Politorium. Is this a free app, or is this similar to some of the others where you also, if you can you sign up for a paid membership, and what's the difference between, a regular membership and a paid membership or a subscription, however you
right.
like.
It is a free app, of course, and yes, there's a premium version. So what we've tried to do is essentially a free account. We expect to be able to have all of the core features. We're not going to make it so if you try to make a petition or create a group, we're like, oh, you'll have to pay us $4.99 a month. No, like something like creating a petition. We want more for people to verify like who they are, to be verified, than premium. Our premium features are things like correcting grammar, like with AI, things that will cost us money through API calls for our AI system and everything like that. Those are the things that the features that will be required to have premium for. But all the core features for doing anything locally, building a reputation, creating petitions, groups, anything like that, will never fall under being, this is required to have premium. Our core, so something that we really are proud of, I guess you could say, is our analytics that we provide to content creators, to everybody. Everybody has access to their analytics, basically seeing what kind of engagement they're getting, who is engaging on their posts, what cities are most engaging on their posts and their content. So everybody will have analytics like that, and that's not something that I want to charge people for, because I think everybody should have the exact same equal rights to get their voice out there. So if somebody doesn't have $3.99 or $4.99, whatever we end up placing the premium subscription cost at, if somebody just simply doesn't have that extra money a month, I don't want to limit what they're able to do with their voice. I want to make sure that everybody has the same access to people. Everybody has all the same features to use. So the things that will fall under the premium are more so things that will cost us to run different automated and AI systems.
So the registration, going through, being part of a group, we can all use that on our Apple phone or iOS.
Yeah, definitely. You just go to your app store and search Politorium, and you'll see it. It just launched like 24 hours ago ish. So, the big curse, I guess you could say, of creating a social media platform is there's no users without content, and there's no content without users, right? So, we're waiting for that real launch until the Android version comes out, and then we'll start pushing a lot of promo and marketing and everything like that. So the level of actual content on the platform right now, we're more than happy for people to start using it, because we need to do debugging and everything like that. But the content is going to be low. The actual posts that people are making and the engagement people are seeing, it's going to be pretty minimal until we really start promotion and marketing.
Oh, well, I will be sure to jump on as soon as we get off, and you'll have my opinion. I might be one of the first ones thrown off also.
I hope not, but we'll see.
No, I do tend to sometimes get very focused in my views, and like you said, well, at my age, I've been around a little over 3/4 of a century, so it's interesting to see how everything has progressed. Like for instance, your application. There's a lot of new things that we have to be aware of now. For instance, I mean, your phone now is your computer. You can
Yeah.
do anything. You can do anything in the world with this. I remember when you had to use a card reading system, and I had to carry around a suitcase in order to run one program.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, So yeah, progress is something that I'm very much aware of, and even at my age, you have to get with the program, or else you'll get run over.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And political discourse is there's a lot of emotion involved in it. So I,
oh,
I expect a lot of people will get overly emotional and wind up like going against the community ethos and everything. And that's why I tried to really create like a forgiving infraction system where it's not just like, hey, at this one point you were like saying all of this stuff, so you got this infraction that's going to stick with you forever. So if you do it again, it's always going to be a bigger ban every time. I wanted to do a forgiving infraction system where you can get your penalty and then get the emotions kind of under control and try to be more level-headed and have just logical and educational conversation.
you were saying something about fact checking.
Yeah.
Did you say that this is a platform that doesn't really fact check, or are you saying that we use fact checking? I guess in order to prove your view, or how does that work? What was your view on fact checking?
Well, to start with, I think we'll be going the route of like community notes. Like people in the community can post evidence of a fact, evidence of a situation, and then there you go. Now you have the evidence because fact checkers are notoriously known to be to have their own biases, to have their own ideas, whether it's on the right or the left. There's fact checkers on both sides that will say like this is not true, or this is true even though it's something's not. So that's like, it's like asking like, have like Walmart come like fact check for me. Well, people at Walmart have their own political ideologies, so they're going to try to push what they believe so other people believe it, and they're going to try to hide what they don't so people aren't aware of it. But the method of community notes, I think, is a lot more like genuine, because then the whole community can come together. One person can say like, here's evidence of whatever this situation is, and then another person could say, no, that's not right because here's this evidence, and it can be compared, and then again the community votes on that, and whatever is, the community's like, yeah, this is the one that's right. Well, then it will be just like on X and I think now Facebook, then it will be displayed down below the post that here's the community note that was shown to be most accurate.
Oh, all right. Sorry. Sounds very good. I want to thank you for your time this evening and explaining this to us. I hope we can get a lot more people to sign up as the platform advances. You said when we first talked, you said you wanted to come on as close to the launch date as possible. Well, I guess we hit that part right on the head.
Right. No, this is perfect. This is definitely perfect. It's right on time. This is what we're really hoping for, is make people aware. The iOS version is out. It's ready to be used. We actually need people to use it so we can do some debugging. Android's going to come out, in a weekish time. And yeah, then we're running. Then we're on our way. Start moving, start making people aware of the platform, start partnerships with other different platforms and companies to just, make people more aware and show support towards other organizations that are trying to push respectful political discourse, and really just start cementing in our name as a platform that is, just a fair, free, and open platform for everybody.
Respectful discourse. I'm gonna ask you in a couple of weeks how that's working out. But in the meantime, any final thoughts? Anything that you would like our audience to know, or maybe some addresses, or web addresses, or anything that you would like our audience to know before we shut down?
Yeah, I guess just Politorium.com is that's our landing page that same visual that I showed that shows kind of how respectful discourse at scale will work. All of that is detailed pretty well on Politorium.com, and it also just it tells you like the who, what, how, and why basically of what Politorium is. It also has a direct download button to download on iOS, and it'll take you to the app inside your iOS app store if you're on an iOS phone. So on Politorium.com you'll find everything about Politorium, the download link and everything else, and that's pretty much all you need to get started.
All right, well, thank you so much, Thomas, and I look forward to having you back on the show so we can kind of keep a gauge on what's going on. As I said, as soon as we get off of the podcast, I will definitely sign up, and I will give you some feedback.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate your time. Let's do this again.
All right, sir. You have a great evening, and as always, make sure that you stay safe. And hey, we thank you for your time, and we look forward to having you back.
Absolutely, man. You have a good one.
You too. Have a good night.
You too.
So thank you, everyone. That was Mr. Thomas Moore showing us, telling us about his new platform, social platform, Politorium. So those of you that have an inkling, go and check out the new app. I thank you very much for listening to us this Monday. Looking forward to talking to you again next Monday. We will also be having a show, and I believe we will be having Mr. Chiqua on the show, and he will be talking about another very important subject next Monday right here on the Diamond Factory. Have a good night and be safe. Thank you.